Hey, it's Mrs. Kapper here, and I'm going to show you how you can make a chandelier out of a store-bought light, some imagination, and a few branches, which I happen to have a whole bunch of cedar. What I wanted was a light for in our kitchen in Kentucky, in the farmhouse, where that table that I made is going to be under there. I need a nice light to hang above it. And I'm out looking at our cedar trees because I got my inspiration from a chandelier I made for our Illinois home with the antlers. So that was my thinking of using cedar branches to kind of mimic that look. So I cut my branches. I got my light, and again, this is just from Menards, I think it was, and it's a basic chandelier kit. It came pretty much pre-assembled. There's some extra parts and pieces, the hanging, and I did not use a lot of those brackets right there. So it went together pretty easy. And then I had an idea. I thought, wouldn't it really be cool to use a log in the middle to cover up that black rod? So I went outside, went in the woods, and I found a dead standing sassafras tree that was about the right diameter. I needed about 3 inches, 3.5 inches. So knowing that those were hollow usually in the inside, I cut it and it was hollow, but unfortunately the hole wasn't in the middle, but that's okay. So all I did was I just trimmed off both of the ends and I started working on the light. I don't like the color that it was, so I just painted it flat black to get rid of some of that silver that was on the edges. To hollow out the center, I used a wood auger that I used for my lamps and drilled the hole that was the same size as that down rod that was on the light. So I drilled through that, and once I got that where I needed it, I started shaving off some of the bark. And I've used sassafras before, and it is wonderful to work with. It's very dry. I'm not using any pressure at all, and I'm just taking off the top layer of bark, and you'll see why in just a minute here. It's hard to believe it looks like that, and then within like literally 5 minutes, I had that pretty much cleaned off. This is where the magic happens. You can see the gorgeous colors that sassafras has, and the smell too. I do use a clear brushing lacquer. I don't know, some people spray it. It doesn't matter. Just needs some kind of a coat on it. So after I had that rod cover finished, all I did was basically run all the wires through it and cover up that rod. I then assembled the rest of the wiring and the cap, slid that on down, and I did have to make a few adjustments with the cap and with the rod to make it fit. So that's how it looked after it was together. Now, you saw me cutting those bigger branches. Well, I forgot that, that light that's going to be in the kitchen is not 20 feet up like my antler one was. So I had to really tone it down to some smaller branches. So I got a bunch of assorted ones, and I started mocking it up in the garage just with some tape just to see if it was even going to work. Once I figured out, yeah, it might work, I started painting the branches because they were just like a dull brown. So I added a little dark brown, a little bit of red to it to go with the sassafras, and then just covered them up. So while I was mocking up that first model, I had another idea. I went back to my sassafras and started peeling off some of the bark, basically like a veneer. So I literally just took the veneer and started gluing with hot glue, and I just ended up covering them so they look like little sticks. I did spray them also with varnish. Slid them over the covers, and boom, I love the look. Now it was time for the assembly. When I first started, I started in the middle, in the center, using a hot glue gun, and basically just went around and around and tried different branches, trimmed a lot to get it where I want it filled. Once I had that center done, I covered them up a little bit with some sticks. So I took it out in the garage so I could see it a little bit better and filled in the middle a little bit more so it had a better shape to it. And then after that, it was time to start looking at the bottom. Before I did that though, I got it's a wire that was covered and I wrapped it around some of the sticks just to make it look a little bit better. I also got some wire to wrap around the branches on the bottom because I knew the glue was not going to be good enough. Now, Gorilla Glue works really good. If you're going to use a hot glue gun, I highly recommend it. So I just went around and finished putting branches in. And after that, I kept looking at it and I really liked the design. I liked how it ended up. I could have kept putting more branches in it, but I didn't want to overdo it. So that's basically it. We are going to get it into the house soon, hopefully. So you won't want to miss that. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on anything new. Thanks for watching.